So we functionally just have a totally open border. It's not Republican advertisement hyperbole to say, I mean, we don't have an operative immigration policy at this point in time. It's show up and get a fancy piece of paper and goodbye, see you in a few years, maybe.
Yeah, I mean, whether you cross illegally or you cross through one of these legal, they call it lawful pathways measures, CBP One, you're pretty much guaranteed to get in. If you have a criminal history, you can run and get in that way, because there's really no border patrol anymore doing on the line, because they're so busy processing all the other ones that you can just easily run and get in. And so we've had this record smashing number of gotaways, about 1.8 million, I think by now, at least, in addition to all the ones that we gave the stamp papers and the stamp to. So it's also really, and that's a really big record number. So one way or another, there's like 3 or 4 or 5 different ways to get in and stay in. That's functionally an open border, in my opinion.
Some of your cutting edge reporting is that one of the other ways that the Biden administration is letting people in is by flying them in. What's going on with that? What have you discovered?
Right. Well, it's part of the legal pathways strategy to reduce the numbers crossing illegally at the border. Was one that they call different kinds of family reunification programs that allow. They just want to keep people off the border, keep them away even from Mexico. And so they announced a series of policies for certain nationalities that were high volume at the border. The highest volumes like Cubans, Haitians, Nicaraguans, that were all showing up at the border. The way to thin them out is to just say, stay home, apply for one of our CBP One, like our parole permits. And then if we approve you, you can buy an airline ticket on a commercial airline and just fly into the airport of your choice. They announced these things and then never said another word about them. And so we saw that. I saw that at the center and wanted to know, well, how many are they flying directly into the U.S.? That's a fair question. So I put in a FOIA request and they ignored it. And then we had to sue them. So we're in litigation right now over this FOIA request of mine for those numbers. We did get some of them for 4 nationalities: the Cubans, the Haitians, the Venezuelans, and the Nicaraguans. And the numbers were stunning, at least to us. Just for those 4, 221,000 came in from October to mid-November, flew into 43 different airports in the United States. Now, none of those ever get counted in the monthly tallies. We're about to have one in August come out, like the monthly tallies for August of illegal entrances. But this is like another 30,000 a month or so. These are just 4 nationalities. They also did made that available to Ukrainians and to Colombians, to Hondurans, Salvadorans, and Guatemalans. So there are like 9 different nationalities. The 221,000 that I'm reporting today is just for 4 of them. So if we're at 221,000, you can imagine, I mean, there's probably another 100,000 or more. We don't really know. They will not also let us know which airports. So they're sandbagging on like which airports, and you can imagine why they would want to. So you're seeing New York, stagger under the weight of immigrants that they think are being bussed in, and a lot of them are bussing in. But I strongly suspect, and have been told privately, I don't have it confirmed, but that a great many of these are flying into JFK. They're not coming in by bus. They're flying to JFK, probably LaGuardia too, and maybe Newark. But they won't tell us. So you can imagine why they wouldn't want to tell the mayor of New York who is screaming and yelling every day about this thing. It's destroying New York. That it's not Greg Abbott in Texas who's busing them. It's Joe Biden who is authorizing these flights that are helping you along in your problem. Same with any state or city that is staggering under this burden. 43 airports in the interior of the U.S., unknown what those airports are. I strongly suspect JFK. I strongly suspect Miami is probably one of the big ones for the Cubans and the Haitians, and even the Venezuelans too, that are just pouring in, being flown into the airports. You can't see it. I always ask, did anybody ask you anything about asylum? And they're like, no, they just stamped our papers. And so we can go in.
So it's a real free-for-all. You want to get into the U.S., free-for-all. You come in.
Everybody gets in. You have just this really historic spike within this historic spike that's going on right now of people from all over the world crossing illegally again. Yesterday was a 10,000 day. A couple days ago, before that, it was a 14,000 day. These are numbers that we, I think, are in the very, very upper end of the spectrum of daily mass migration.
And the vast majority of these people are taking advantage of our extraordinarily, some would say generous, I would say outdated asylum laws, correct?
Well, they're not even, most of them are not even being asked to apply for asylum.
Really?
At all. They're just being like before. It's just like pre-Title 42. I haven't met one yet who said, oh yeah, I was interviewed for asylum. I always ask, did anybody ask you anything about asylum? And they're like, no, they just stamped our papers. And so we can go in. People are still waiting in line for the CBP One application because to finish the answer to your earlier question, one of the great benefits of it is that if you do, you'll get authorized for a work permit right away. That'll go for 2 years, renewable every 2 years. So you come in through CBP One, you report into an ICE office in the city of your choice, and then they will grant you the work authorization papers, and then you can get a work permit and you can work legally. They'll give you all the papers you need. Then what happens to them after that? There's been very little reporting. This has been going on because a lot of them just got 1 year work permits. Some of them got 1 year. So I don't really know yet whether the 1 year permits got renewed, or if it's like this indefinite, every year they have to be renewed in perpetuity, or else we might have to deport you or you can't work. Mm-hmm. So that's kind of this is still so new. We don't know whether the administration is actually doing renewals. If you apply for asylum in that 2 year period, that does then put you in another queue, 4 years on average to have your case heard. And people that get in that queue also get work authorization. And so I'm guessing that they're moving from the CBP One temporary one to the longer term asylum one, and everybody stays forever. Like you're not getting, they start to build equity for 4 or 5 years. They've got kids that are American children. Yeah, they're all just here. Probably about 5 million so far.
And those work permits make it so that, suppose we implemented national mandatory E-Verify tomorrow. They're not going to get tripped up by the E-Verify system because they have a work permit.
That's right. Now, there probably are a lot that never applied for asylum or won't apply for asylum. They just go into the illegal black market, labor market, and are just kind of working, mowing lawns, cleaning houses, maybe using fake IDs, fake, papers to trick employers into hiring them. E-Verify is not enforced really in just a couple of states. Florida, I think, just recently did it. Texas doesn't even do E-Verify.